नमस्कार समस्त को। अच्छा इंग्लिश रे कहले चलिबो तो आज्ञा
इंग्लिश ओडिया जहाँ अपन कहि परिबे इंग्लिश ओडिया जोथरे अपन भलो कहि परिबे कहंतु।
अच्छा हाउ ठीक अछि
अपन आज यू लाइक।
हां समस्त को नमस्कार। आई थैंक्स वेरी मच to Dr. Purnachandra Behera for organizing such online meeting. It is very important to discuss on such important subject, and he is regularly organizing online seminar. How much people listen to it, that is different thing, but it has always value. Our pro people message can reach the people. That is the most important thing. Today the topic is state repression and people's movement. In Odia we can say Rashtra Damana o Jana Andolana. First we should know the difference between oppression, suppression, then repression. Next we can come to state repression. First is what is oppression. In Odia we can say damana, systematic and a long term exercise of power by one group over other group is known as oppression. The glaring example is caste system, gender discrimination, racial segregation, all these things. This is the oppression which we face in society. Different people face it. Next is suppression. Suppression, oppression रा ओडिया हला दमन, suppression रा ओडिया हला निरोध. Suppression means the act of restraint, preventing something. It does not rise from structure system. It is an act of restraint something. It is not does not rise the structure system like oppression, for example, caste system, gender discrimination, all this. Suppression, example of suppression is censorship of media, restriction on protest for maintaining law and order. This is suppression. Now we will come our important thing, repression. In Odia it is damanatmaka damana, but forceful suppression, severe and coercive form of suppression. It is typically carried by state authorities, policy, militaries and other institutions. That means to curb the dissent. When we talk about dissent, then it is a very wider subject. Naturally, when we talk about repression, we talk about just resistance, protest, demonstration against industrialists. No. This is one part of a struggle against repression, state repression, or repression of industrialist, capitalist. Repression means, state repression means curbing dissent, decimating dissent, destroying dissent, different views, opinion, protest, all are destroyed by state in a different way. That can go to struggles against industrialists, for a displacement, or struggle for a democracy, struggle for a justice, struggle for a human rights, struggle for free health education, struggle for media freedom, struggle for a decent life, struggle against for a freedom of expression, all type of we can tell the struggle against repression. We cannot confine into only struggle against industrialists for displacing people. Normally, what is discussed. So it is a very bigger chapter when we talk of repression. Now, important thing is why we need to fight repression, and what are the way our freedom of expression is caught, how we are targeted, what is should be our responsibility. Earlier speaker have spoken very beautifully. They have talked about class struggle. We are exploited class. Everybody knows about Marxian theory. One having money does not mean he is a exploiter. He may be exploited classes. Once whether exploiter or exploited, it is varies from place to place. Suppose we have employed some maid servant in our house. Then they are an owner. She may be part of the exploiter class. It does not mean that we are exploiting them. So it is varies from place to place. But normally we are all working class, common people are exploited classes. Exploiters are those who rule us, those who are owner of a company. These all are these things. Another important thing we must understand, everybody loves power, wealth, money, recognition, all are like this. I am not talking about recognition, but I am talking about wealth and power. Because if you have a wealth and power, people will give respect, people will ask how are you, people will follow you. But if you don't have power and wealth, how much knowledgeable you may be, people will not give respect to you. That is the truth. Abe parsu jabe parsu babu parsu ram paisa kya na kare ka. That is a fact. That is why people run after power, money and wealth. But it doesn't mean all run after power and money, wealth. Had all run after power, money and wealth, there would not have been any struggle. People are changing political party for their position and power. Still people, there are peoples who are struggling against them. They are not compromising. They are sacrificing. So the society is moving. There is a struggle because some are fighting against injustice. Some are fighting against state repression. Because there are some human instinct. When some has an instinct of enjoying power, privilege and suppressing other, somebody has also instinct in going against current, going against establishment power for the benefit of the society. This is the inherent nature which is very been in human mind. So all cannot favor also exploitation. Similarly, all cannot fight exploitation. Some surrender before exploiters. Some fight against the exploiters. That is the different human being. This has a link with the intricacy of the human behavior. You cannot change the mind of people just giving some money also. There are people who have a lot of sacrifice. The biggest movement is our independence. At that time, people fought, people sacrificed their life. Why they fought? because they loved more their nation. So we cannot generalize that all are the same line. People also, there are still today people who fight exploitation, and that is why we have a society, that is a human relation, otherwise everything would have been decimated. But important thing is that everybody loves power and wealth. That is what I am telling. I am not contradicting my statement. Everybody loves power. That doesn't mean everybody does not want to fight against exploitation. That is different thing. Exploitation and having power is not same thing. One maybe have a power. One helps one to do something for the society. That we must understand. If one has a power, he can do for the people, he can do for others. So exploitation, always exploitation is not linked with also power. Exploitation is linked with the human mind, and human behavior normally changes with change of gain of power and wealth, but not applicable in all cases. But the important thing is that when one gains power, particularly I am not talking power just normal. When one become legislator, bureaucrat, they want to retain it. Particularly, politicians want to retain their power and position. That is the important thing. When they want to retain and power position, they want to try to cater to the interest of those sections who will help them to retain power or to rise into power or to snatch or power or gain power. They do not become, when they get the power, they do not become normally the common man's people. They try to how to retain power, because power enables one to have prestige, recognition and all these things. So what happens? They think how to they gain power. They can if they can control the industrialists provide money. If they think if they can control the media, they can grow. So what happens? So they want to try to deceive the people. They create emotions. They do not, since poverty, hunger, unemployment are massive, they do not think that they cannot, when they feel that they cannot solve all these problems, and it is difficult to solve, but they should try it. Instead of trying, they try to evoke the sentiments of the people. They try to divide the people in the name of religion, caste, creed, sex, and so and so. They try to divide the people in the name of a position. So what happens? They try to retain power and they cater to the interest of those people, those who will help them into retaining power. That happens. So another important thing, what happens? They primarily, first what happens? They primarily control the media. That is the important thing. What is happening in the society? Because media can project them as an important person of the society. Media can project the repression as a benevolent attitude of the ruling class or a industrialist. And another important thing is the glorification of power today. We must understand, glorification of power means when power people enjoy their life, society celebrate that is their sacrifice. This is their achievement. This is their contribution. But when common people sacrifice a lot, when intellectuals sacrifice a lot, general people do a lot for the society, this is not a glorified. This is treated with disdain. That is important. This is treated with hatred. This is belittled. This is denigrated. That is the important thing which we must understand. Second thing, what happens, what they do it, ruling class uses various agency, enforcement direct, CBI, income tax department, vigilance, judiciary to curb the dissent. That happens. They utilize it to curb the dissent, to create repression, to suppress the movement of the people, to destroy the voice of the voiceless, to curb the struggle and movement of the people. They do it. Another important thing is that opposition are targeted. What is now happening? The oppositions are targeted. Usually, in past, what was happening? The ruling class is elected is to perform. I know whoever rule cannot solve the problem, but one is defeated because he has failed. One is elected because he is expected to perform. But so today what has happened? The opposition are targeted. Media has been coerced, media has been forced to target the opposition instead of finding the flaws in the ruling class. So that suppress our movement. Another important thing is performance of a ruling class is compared always, not asked to perform better, but when they fail, they compare it with the worst performance of their predecessors or something happening in other countries. For example, we can say emergency. Emergency was a blackest, darkest period of that arena. But today we see there is also undeclared emergency, what many say. So that is compare. They immediately talk about, instead of talking about the present situation, independence of media, independence of judiciary, they talk of the emergency. So it has become a compared. Another important thing is that we must also understand justice delivery systems are weakened. When you face the problem, you go to somewhere. You have to go to the police, you have to go to the judiciary, you have to go to the media, you have to go to the administrator. But today justice delivery system is weakened. And your efficiency is judged as your loyalty to the ruling class. That is important. You have a much, say you are much efficient, you have a research scholar, you have a knowledge, you have a talent, you have a potentiality, you have everything you have. But you will not be given higher position, recognition in society. You will not be treated with respect unless you have a loyal to the ruling class. That is why to take critical discussion, independent discussion has been decimated. Independent critical thinking has been totally ignored. So that is why the repression of a state is increasing. And what I want to tell that in various index, if we say what are the position of India today, if you say that I am telling it is my personal opinion, no. What I am telling out of my research, what I am telling, what the statistics say. Example, you take one example, Human Freedom Index. India's position is 110 out of 165 countries. That means in terms of human freedom, India is behind 109 countries. This index is based on rule of law, safety, movement, religion, association, assembly, and all these things. Another index I am coming. This is the index is the varieties of democracy from Sweden. India remains as electoral autocracy, and in liberal democracy, India's rank is 100 out of 179 countries. That means India is a electoral autocracy. Another thing is Freedom House, USA-based non-profit independent house. According to this, India is a partial democracy. Similarly, Economic Intelligence Unity of London, This produces a democracy index. India is declared as a flawed democracy, defective democracy. And India is behind 45 countries in terms of democracy. Similarly, let us come to the World Press Freedom Index. What Index Freedom Index says? It is produced by Reporters Without Borders. According to this index, India is placed at 151 out of 180 countries. That means in terms of a human freedom index, India is behind 100. In terms of freedom, media freedom, India is behind 150 countries. That we must understand. So this indicator shows that there is a repression of a dissent. It is not a new thing, because I have told those who are power, they try to retain power by fair or unfair means. It is very understandable. You must understand that one must understand the intricacy of a human behavior. Today we are listening. We cannot say what will happen if we acquire power. I have seen many people. Power is always insensitive. Power is arrogant. Power is vindictive. Very few people handle the power judiciously. I have interacted with many people. I have seen how their behavior changes with the change of power. They behave in different when they have power. They behave differently, and particularly people try to maintain distance from his own relation when they gain power and wealth. So that what necessary is a struggle against a power. When power wants to retain by fair or unfair means, and he wants to cater to the interest who can help him to gain power, so there is a necessary always a struggle against the power, irrespective of party and politics. Our system is always rigged in favor of the rich. Our system is rigged in favor of the rich, and the entire world system is in such a way that it favors the rich. If you evade a 1 rupee tax, you will be caught. But if you evade a crores of tax, if you do not pay the bank loans amounting thousands of crores, still you enjoy freedom. You will enjoy power. You will enjoy the prestige. And what is important, people give weightage to the money and power. You go to the village, if you are an honest person, you give less money to any social function, they will not respect you. But you have a black money, you have a power, if you give thousands or huge money, they will respect you, they will run after you. But when you fight one for an equal society, just society, then you have to struggle for this. You have to convince these people. I want to do things. I will conclude after some time, a few minutes. Important thing is that the phantom of a democracy. What it means? The phantom of a democracy is a book written by an foreign author. This says that you will see there is a democracy. But in practice, all the democratic norms will be violated. You will have no power today. You tell me, today except casting our votes, do we have anything? Can we contest election? If you do not have money and power, you cannot contest election. 46% MP have a criminal background. Average asset of a Rajya Sabha MP is 128 crores. Today there is a rancor and bitterness and a campaign about women reservation. I am just pointing out, I am in favor of women reservation, no doubt. And the important thing is that the bill has been passed earlier in 2023. Today those bill has been passed, it has been linked with the census 2011 instead of a census beyond 2026. Nobody is telling. But how many women of our family will be able to contest? That is important thing. It is the women members of this rich, powerful, or the politician will only come, not common people. So when I am in favor of women reservation, it should not be politicized. And there should not be so much rancor today. Anyway, this is not a topic. Another important thing is democracy dies in darkness. Democracy dies in darkness. This is a report, an important news written by the Washington Post when Trump became president in 2007 first term. That means see, democracy dies in darkness means ruling class are not accountable before the people. Ruling class not answerable to the people. Ruling class are not answerable to the voters. Today, how many media persons are asking the critical question the politician? Those who are power, they are asking the question, easy question which they can answer. Today, there is no discussion about the people's problem. I am not telling that if I will be made minister, I will solve all the problem. No. Nobody can solve the problem. It is also very difficult to manage the people because everybody wants to power. Everybody will create problem. That is very difficult it is very difficult to run a country. It is difficult to run a state. Undoubtedly, it is also difficult to solve all the problems. I agree with everything. But important thing is that when we want to fight against dissent and we want to raise our dissent voice, we want to talk about voice and voicelessness, we want to a democratic attitude, we want to a pro-people government, we have to target the ruling class. We have to point out to their failure. It is not question. I am not questioning any party. I am not questioning you should target any political party or any individual ruler, any person. Every time I have always told, our system is like this. It will always ride on the poorer section of the society. A sheep is sacrificed. A snake is not sacrificed before God. So weaker are always exploited, and they are told that you will enjoy life in future, and people are told that you are born to have a just eat something and lead a reasonable life, and rich will enjoy wealth, massive wealth, crores of money by by evading tax. Our already non-tax tax not collected is around 38.4 lakh crores. Bank loan written up is around 16.6 lakh crores. Where this money is going? So that is why it is necessary. We should talk about any pro-people angle. That is important. We should forget who is in power. We should forget which party is ruling power. We should not be deciding in terms of political party. We should talk about poor. I am giving one example. One day you went to the Bali Jatra, and on the same day you come to the hospital. There you see that how people are enjoying in Bali Jatra. And you come to the hospital, you see how the people are suffering. What should be our objective? What should be the objective of media? What should be the objective of academician? What should be the objective of intellectual? They should talk about vulnerable section of the society. They should talk about the people who are suffering in the hospital. So today, what has been happened? Nobody is talking about the poorer section of the society. How you see how society is contaminated. family is ruined, accident is rampant, people are affected by dreaded DBG, divorce is rampant, social media is flooded with pornography, pleasure, leisure of life is destroyed. Even in earlier days, 20 years back, we have even despite lack of money, we had a life, we have a meaningful life. Today all these are destroyed. Nobody today, neither media nor intellectual nor academics are talking. What is happening when you are talking about the fighting against repression? Then who will support you to fight repression? What has been today? Intellectuals are divided, academics are divided, powerful people are divided, because if you speak in favor of the rich, powerful people, if you talk about them, if you praise the ruling class, then you have a better chance to gain power, money, wealth, and status, position, and society. So nobody is now, the number of people fighting against injustice, number of people talking about the poorer people is gradually, even not gradually, it is rapidly declining. Mindset of people have been changed. People have gradually made arrogant, insensitive, egoistic, vindictive. Life has losing its charm. Decent life is not just having a car or mobile or a television. Decent life is having ability to give independent stock. Decent life is sharing your emotion, thoughts, feeling. Decent life is freedom to expression. Decent life is to ensure justice. Decent life is to wants to fight against the mistreat of powerful. Today you cannot go anywhere where if you are exploited. Society is divided in political line. You go to the village people are divided in terms of political parties. It was not earlier. We are heading for an eventual collapse. Climate is deteriorating. So in this time we need to unitedly fight against yes.
Santosh Babu, please come.
In that time, we should fight against repression. Repression can be in any form, not just it can be from weakening our struggle. It can come curbing the democratic rights. It can curb in form of curbing the labor right. It can come, repression can come curbing the freedom of expression. It can curb curbing a decent life. It can come through the depriving health and education facilities. So all repression can come. So it is necessary those who are vulnerable, those who are exploited class, they should fight. But unfortunately, when exploiters are united, exploited class are not united. That is the important thing. We need to be fight against this repression if we want to save the society, if we want to have a better future for our children. I am very glad that I have been given chance to share my emotion, thoughts, feelings, idea. I thank you organizers for arranging such seminar online. Thanks you again. With this, I conclude my speech. Namaste.